Hi, hello. Welcome back everybody to the Dara Cooking Show, to the Dara Cooking Stream. I hope you're all having a beautiful Friday. We have done it, we have made it to the end of the week, and now we are rewarded with another installment of the cooking show, if that is your type of reward, I guess. Hi, it's lovely to see all of you. Welcome on in. I'm a little bit sleepy today. I'm a little bit off my game, so I apologize if I'm going to be a little bit lower energy than usual today, but I'm happy to see all of you. Hello to Shy Chica, hello to Trash Can Cat Mom, hello to Tarina Chess. We have all the classics, all of the sous chefs that we have in here every single stream, every single show. Welcome on in, also School of Rock and Roll. I saw you in the chat, as well as Liam, really briefly. So, everybody, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. Today, we're going to be doing something that I don't typically do. I'm going to be using an ingredient today that I don't typically get to use because I am almost ontologically opposed to it. And that ingredient is lettuce, my friends. I have some leftover romaine lettuce from when I did the mercimek köftesi on Wednesday. And so I saw the romaine lettuce and my mind immediately jumped to being able to make a beautiful Caesar salad. Here is an entire head's worth of romaine lettuce, guys. Just took the core out. I really heavily washed the leaves because, of course, romaine lettuce, any kind of lettuce, usually filled with bugs, filled with sand. And I am not the biggest advocate of eating lettuce. I don't think it's ecologically all that sustainable in terms of how much water it consumes, for how few nutrients it ends up giving you. But I love its light crunch. I love its light crunch, and romaine lettuce can have a really nice sweetness to it as well. And so the lettuce will be, of course, the main component of the Caesar salad today. I wanted to use up an entire head of lettuce, and thus that is exactly what we're doing. We're going to be doing a Caesar salad, but we're going to be doing it my way, because I love eating Caesar salad, but one of my biggest issues with Caesar salad is that it doesn't really feel like a salad. Which is to say, it is only lettuce and dressing and croutons. It is not filling enough, and yet it is only really fatty and rich without having other vegetables in there to really, beef it up a little bit. So we're going to be breaking tradition, we're going to be breaking convention, we're going to be adding in a few more things into the Caesar salad than you would typically see, but we're going to be doing a very classic, very authentic dressing. And guys, it is okay to innovate upon and expand upon even classic dishes that people say, oh, you can't mess up, you have to do it exactly this way. No, this is my kitchen. I'm going to be able to make this the way that I want, it to come out, and I want it to have a little bit more nutrition. And it is going to be a chopped salad. So, Trash Can Cat Mom, really good clarification. Caesar salad traditionally served with whole lettuce leaves. Now, while that might look nice on a plate, it's not functional. So, of course, it's going to be a chopped salad. I do nothing but teach chopped salads here. So my friends, we have an entire head's worth of romaine lettuce. I can go ahead and put that down. And now, the first of my unconventional additions is going to be some cherry tomatoes going into this. I have some beautiful little cherry tomatoes, some beautiful little grape tomatoes. We're going to be salting them ahead of time. And these are just going to provide a little bit of extra sweetness, some meatiness, and some acidity inside of the salad. I'm going to put that behind me. The next component that is not traditional at all is the broccoli, my friends. I have some broccoli. I love the way broccoli soaks up salad dressings when it's raw. Because of how porous it is, because of all of the surface area on top of the florets, it just holds onto dressings incredibly well. And so I wanted to go ahead and get some broccoli inside of my Caesar salad for today as well. And I'll go ahead and throw that into the fridge in the meantime. But yes, so as far as unconventional ingredients go, I have one last unconventional ingredient, my friends, and that is some chickpeas. I have some garbanzo beans here, and I love adding chickpeas into a salad. It's a really nice way of getting a little bit of extra protein. I love doing bean salads, and I love the texture of it. So we have a lot of different textures to consider. We have the snap of the lettuce. We have the soft, buttery creaminess of the garbanzo beans inside. We'll have the juiciness of those cherry tomatoes, and then we're also going to get a lot of extra tough crunch coming in from the broccoli. So it's going to be a very texturally heterogeneous experience. There's going to be a lot to it, and of course it's going to also have the crunchy croutons. So it'll be crispy, it'll be refreshing, it'll still be delicious, but it's also going to just have a lot more going on inside of it. Normally I'm a really big minimalist, but for me a Caesar salad is almost too minimalistic. I don't care about just eating a bunch of romaine lettuce all at once. I want to have other vegetables in my salads. Okay, next, let's talk about the dressing, my friends. We have a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. We also have some whole grain mustard. We're going to be basically creating like a pseudo mayonnaise today. So we're going to be blending up an egg yolk inside of the food processor with some oil, and then the mustard is going to help everything to stay together, and Worcestershire sauce for a little bit of oomph, for a little bit of saltiness, for a little bit of fishiness. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. Next components for the dressing, guys, we have some lemon juice, and we also have some anchovies. Now, apparently, anchovies are not actually traditional to the original classic Caesar salad, but I very firmly and strongly believe that anchovies are essential for what we now contextually consider to be the flavor of a Caesar salad. So, we have a couple of anchovies here. We're gonna be using like 5 anchovy fillets. I'll have to come up with a use for them in the future. And then we also have a lemon. Okay, gonna go ahead and set that down behind me. And now, alongside the Caesar salad, everybody, we're going to be doing a pan-seared chicken breast, kind of like a grilled chicken breast alongside of salad vibes, even though we're not gonna mix in the chicken, it's only going to be a side. So, in that case, my friends, as always, we never do chicken parts, we only do whole chickens in this kitchen. I wanna show you guys how to break down a whole chicken. All that I did was I took this chicken, I took it out of the package, patted it dry, and put it onto a sheet tray with a wire rack. And so I'm gonna be walking you through how to break it down, how to get all the different individual components, and what we'll be using the chicken breast for, as well as dry brining it, as well as the function of all these different things that we wanna achieve. So, really basic, really simple, just a salad and a chicken dish. With that being said, is everybody ready to begin today? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please, and thank you. I'll have a little sip of water in the meantime. That's a few yes, chefs. Okay, we can do better than that at some point, once we do the stream for a little bit. Everybody, little housekeeping before we begin. As always, you can always ask me any cooking questions whatsoever. It can be about this dish, it can be about something else. It can just be anything related to food, because remember, I am here to teach you guys how to cook at home. Next, if you would like to look at the full list of all the different ingredients that we have today, !menu. We'll drop all of that into the chat. And then if you would like to support the cooking show, my friends, !Patreon is the best way to go ahead and directly financially support the show, because my goal is to be able to do this full-time one day. So, we have a whole chicken. We need to break it down. We're going to dry brine the breasts and put away the other components of the chicken. Then we're going to be processing and breaking down all the different vegetables. We'll be making our own dressing from scratch, and it's going to be delicious. So, with that being said, let's begin. Well, not the starting soon scene, that was the completely incorrect scene. I have one big, beautiful, whole chicken, my friends. Okay? I also have not tried Russian pine cones, Serena. I didn't know that you could eat pine cones, but I have heard of a syrup made from them. So, everybody, I have a big, beautiful whole chicken. Now, why am I buying whole chickens instead of just buying the individual components? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, buying whole chickens can sometimes be cheaper than buying all of those components individually, right? And so it's saving us a little bit of money. But second of all, what it's really doing for us is we get the bones of the chicken, my friends. We get the amazing byproduct that is the chicken carcass. And that chicken carcass can and will be used for the chicken stock later on in the future. We're not going to be using that for today. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the bones, put them into a freezer bag, and throw it into the freezer. Everybody, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of getting into the habit of buying whole chickens. Can I please get a yes, chef? There is no reason not to be intimidated. Wait, there is no reason to be intimidated. I realized I might have actually just made the whole process that much more scary. Okay? I want to get you into the habit of buying whole chickens, and I am here to show you just how easy it is to break down and break apart a chicken. So, I am going to go ahead and tie up my hair. So we got to get off 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 breasts, and 2 wings. And then we're going to go ahead and save all of the extra bones that we get from this process. Going to go ahead and glove on up for this. And once we're gloved up, we can begin the process that is breaking down this chicken. Okay, so we're going to begin with a nice, sharp, slender knife. Now, you don't want to use something like a chef's knife because it's a little too wide and clunky. You want something with a little bit of length to it, but something that is still thin enough. Okay, so ideally you would use a boning knife. You could do a petty knife, or you could even do a paring knife. You can get away with one of those. I just would not do a chef's knife because it can be a little bit clunky and cumbersome. You want something thin and something long, something nice and elegant. Okay, so we're gonna grab the chicken. We have him right here. He's all ready to go, my friends. And so we're going to just break him down into all of his individual parts. The first is going to be the wings, the easiest and the most satisfying of all. So everybody take a look. We're going to flip it over, back up, shoulders and wings up. Okay? All that we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to take a nice sharp slender knife and we're going to make an incision where the wing meets the rest of the carcass. Right, basically around the shoulder of the chicken. And once we make that incision, we just have to go between the joints. Remember, we never cut through bone when we butcher a chicken. We never cut through bone, we never have to worry about that. That's one chicken wing already off. Ready? We're gonna do it again. Make an incision where the wing itself begins to meet the carcass. That is the shoulder of the chicken, and then you will see the joint, you'll go in between the joints, you'll go in between the bones, and you'll be able to pop out the wing. And so just like that, my friends, we already have 2 beautiful chicken wings off. Okay, next, we're going to go ahead and do the legs. So, everybody, for the legs, really, really simple. You want to make an incision on the skin as close to the leg as possible. We have 2 legs that we need to take off here. So all I'm going to do is make that incision. I'm going to make it all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. Okay, excellent, beautiful. And now, my friends, all that needs to happen is we can literally pop out the leg out of the socket. And we're going to basically peel the meat back. We're going to peel it back. We're going in between the joints. The legs, they just want to come right off. Super, super easy, super simple. Let's go ahead and do the same exact thing with this chicken leg. So, little incision all the way through, little incision all the way through. Okay, just keep going around it. Peel off that skin gently, my friends. You don't want it to damage the skin that is attached to the breast because we're going to be keeping that breast skin to get it nice and crispy. Pop out the leg, and now, just like that, we have officially achieved 2 beautiful chicken legs that I can go ahead and put behind me. So, we're almost done with breaking down the chicken, everybody. Last but not least, we want to get the breasts and we want to get the tenders in one fell swoop. So, breasts, we got 2 of them, and running right between them is going to be a bone. So, all that we need to go ahead and do is begin by making an incision on either side of that breastbone, right? Make that incision, my friends. Make that incision and go all the way through to the end with the skin. Make that incision, make an L-shaped cut, and exit the chicken. Okay, L-shaped cut, short part, long part. Next, you're going to want to get your thumb, you want to get your finger in there, and you want to essentially peel off all of the meat. You want to peel off the meat. You want to peel off the meat. You want to peel it off. We're just going to be using our hands. Okay, we're just peeling it off. We're peeling it off. We're peeling it off. There you go, just like that. Nice and easy. Peeling it off, and it's all going to come out in one shot. Peeling it off, peeling it off. Okay, we're almost done with this step, my friends. Last but not least, what needs to happen, we're just going to grab a knife and we're going to slide all of this beautiful breast meat out. And just like that, we have one gorgeous skin-on chicken breast with the tender fully attached and fully intact. So I'm going to go ahead and set that down, and all we have to do now is just repeat this on the second side. So grab your beautiful chicken carcass, make that incision, go all the way through to the end with the skin. Oh, hello. I didn't get all the way through, actually. Is gloves when handling raw meat worth it? So Foxy Princess, that's a really good question. The answer is you don't particularly need to. The only reason that I cook with gloves is so that I can protect my hands from eczema, because my eczema gets pretty bad. But the part that is useful for having gloves is when we do get to the peeling portion, right when we're peeling the breast off alongside the tender, because if you're not wearing gloves, you can easily just get like raw chicken stuck under your fingernail. So the answer is, typically, unless you have eczema like I do, you don't really need to worry about that. Otherwise, the only time that you would put on gloves is when you are using and manipulating your fingers in this way. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Okay, take it and peel it off, and peel it all off, and peel it off. Out all of it comes. Out it goes. Okay, and now that we have this intact once more, just grab it and chunk it off. And that is going to be our second chicken breast all ready to go for today. So, I'm gonna slap that onto my sheet tray. Last but not least, everybody, one more thing I want to do is I just want to break up the carcass into 2 pieces so that this easily fits into a freezer bag. So I'm just gonna go ahead and snap off the spine like that. Does raw meat set eczema off? I never noticed it. So it's not that the raw meat sets off eczema, but it's just any prolonged exposure to something wet. Prolonged exposure to something wet will ultimately cause your hands to get irritated and then dried out. So it's not about the raw meat, it is just anytime I'm handling something wet for a long period of time. Okay, so everybody, we have officially broken down a whole chicken. We did it ourselves. Last but not least, I'm gonna grab a couple of freezer bags and just get it put away and get it put into the freezer. We're not gonna need the chicken legs, we're not gonna need the chicken thighs, we're not gonna need the carcass today or anything like that. So I'm just gonna grab them, put them away, get them out of sight, and get them out of mind. Does anybody have any questions for me? Now would be a really good time to ask me if you have any. So, this chicken carcass will be used for a later purpose that is not currently yet defined, but probably for a future chicken stock. And then I'll go ahead and get the second one done with my other chicken parts. I have a very bad habit of letting a lot of my chicken pieces not like, you know, I don't really use them in a timely manner if I just put them into the fridge. So I'm gonna need to get into the habit of just freezing them as is instead. Okay, so chicken carcass into the freezer, as well as my chicken legs and my chicken wings. And then we'll just have to process up the breasts. We're gonna get them dry brining, we're gonna get them ready to go, and then we'll be all set, my friends. So just coming back here. Putting away my legs, putting away my wings, as I have no use for it at this moment in time. Because today is gonna be all about the chicken breasts. We're gonna get them nice and juicy. We're gonna get them perfectly seared, my friends. It's going to come out and it's gonna be excellent. I feel like chicken breasts don't get a lot of love. A lot of people, especially in the last however many, maybe like last 10 years, it's been all about chicken thigh. And people saying that, oh, I didn't even know chicken breast can be good. The key to a perfect chicken breast, guys, will always be to not overcook it. And that's exactly what we're not going to do. We're going to keep it moist. We're gonna keep it super juicy. We're going to get a nice crispy skin on it as well, and it's going to be lovely. Okay? Chicken legs and chicken bones officially in the freezer. And last but not least, my friends, we have one more step of processing before we can completely move on, which is going to be to dry brine the chicken breasts. And we'll talk about exactly what dry brining is. We'll talk about the function of dry brining. We'll talk about what it's going to achieve for us. So let's go ahead and make a little space. And I'll go ahead and get my chicken out one more time. Okay, so everybody, I have these 2 beautiful chicken breasts, okay, which you can't see at all at the moment. So please forgive me as I'm continuing to just make the space for them. Okay, I have 2 of these lovely chicken breasts that we together, right? We worked together, we collaborated. We were able to go ahead and get it completely butchered ourselves. So the only thing extra that we're going to need to do to this is to salt it in advance. Everybody, I need to hear a nice collective yes, chef, please, and thank you. Dry brining is a really, really important technique. All that dry brining is to season something with salt ahead of time. And it's incredibly effective. It's incredibly important for things like chicken, because chicken is really, really delicate. Chicken breast doesn't have a lot of fat to it. Okay, and as a result, this is a cut of meat that people oftentimes consider to be quite dry. So, by seasoning it with salt, we actually increase the moisture retention inside of the chicken breast itself. Okay, we increase the moisture retention. It comes out juicier, and because of the fact that salt is water soluble, it's actually able to penetrate the chicken and get it nicely and evenly seasoned. So we are going to want a generous amount of salt, my friends, right on top. Just like so. Nice, generous, heavily seasoning it with the kosher salt from nice and up high. And let's go ahead and do the second one. And once again, my friends, the salt is going to penetrate, it's going to season the chicken. And ideally, you would do this about 5-6 hours in advance ahead of time. But honestly, anything over an hour or so is already going to have improved and noticeable effects. Okay, so the chicken tender seems to have fallen off. That's okay. Chicken tender stalks falling at the moment. And we're going to go ahead and salt the skin side as well. There you go. Nicely and heavily salted. All ready to go. And the only thing left to do, my friends, is just to put it into the fridge. Now, you don't have to use a wire rack, but the reason why wire racks are so nice is because instead of the excess liquid pooling up at the bottom and making the chicken breast soggy and it won't brown properly, a wire rack allows everything to drip downwards. And if everything drips downwards, that means there's not going to be any water pooling up at the bottom. Now, if you don't have a wire rack, you could just theoretically use a plate. You would need to pat it dry with a paper towel halfway through, but in my case, my friends, a wire rack is going to be perfect. So that's it. Chicken breast plus salt. We broke it down ourselves. We seasoned it up. I'm going to go ahead and throw it into the fridge in the meantime. And then, everybody, before we proceed with the rest of what we actually need to do today, I am going to have to clean up a few of the dishes, specifically the cutting board, because we're going to use that to chop up everything else for today. So that's all done. That's all taken care of. And now, everybody remember, clean as you go. I have this big, beautiful butchery block. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up. I'm going to sanitize it and just make sure that it is ready for everything else today. Right, next up, we're going to do all the different vegetable prep that we have to do. We're going to make the dressing. We're going to make some homemade croutons as well. So I didn't mention this, but we're going to make the homemade croutons. I have some leftover bread, and one of the best uses of leftover stale old bread, my friends, is to make croutons. It gets really nice and crispy. It gives them new life, and it above all else makes it really, really nice and delicious. So that's all going to be coming up. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of a few dishes while I am physically able to do so. So just gonna make some space in my sink. My salad spinner was sitting in my sink. Although I don't have to necessarily play-by-play narrate this. How do you properly clean a butcher block? So that's a really good question, Trash Can Cat Mom. And the answer is quite simple, surprisingly, which is do not let things soak in. This is the general rule of thumb with anything that uses actual porous natural wood. Okay? You do not want to leave it in water. You don't want to leave wet things on it for too long, especially things like raw meat. Okay, so the only thing that you really need to do, soap and water, but just immediately after you're done using it. And that way your butcher block is gonna last you a while. You never wanna put it into the dishwasher, the abrasive environment, the hot liquid, all of that is too much. You want very quick exposure to liquid, and then my friends, your butcher block will last you basically until the end of time. So the rules are no dishwashing, okay? And do not let things soak into it, especially raw meat. Do not let things soak into it. If you just take proper care of it, if you clean it as you go, then you will be more than happy at the end of the day. Okay, and the nice thing about butchery blocks is if you take care of them, because of how thick they are, they're not going to warp nearly as much as thinner wooden devices. But it will absolutely still warp if you weren't responsible and careful with not putting it in a dishwasher and not leaving it to soak in the sink. You don't want to soak in the sink. You don't want to leave it in the sink. You don't want to leave it out, my friends. So clean it yesterday. Clean it yesterday, and you will be all the happier for it. Okay. Got my knife nice and cleaned up. And then I'll go ahead and get my butcher block washed off, and then we can go ahead and proceed with the rest of the salad for today. Ugh. There we go. And just giving that a little rinse. So once again, I apologize for doing the dishes in the middle of the stream, in the middle of the show, but I'm still here. Zlo, welcome on in. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Hope all is well. It is lovely to have you in here. We're making some Caesar salad. We just broke down a whole chicken. We have that chicken dry brining right now because we're gonna do some seared chicken breast later on, and it's gonna be great. Right now, just cleaning up my butcher block and getting it nice and sanitized and ready to go for the vegetables today. Okay, almost done. Once again, I apologize for not having done this sooner. There is just no better way to do it other than now and doing it live. Okay. My butcher block is all clean. It is now ready to go ahead and handle some vegetables, my friends. WFH day. I don't know what WFH is. What's WFH? Also, Slow, welcome on in. How's your day been? Okay. Oh, work from home. I see. Okay, so my butcher block is nice and wiped off. So what do we have left to actually do today? The answer is the following. We got to make the croutons from scratch. We have to do all the vegetable prep, which is going to be chopping up the vegetables. It's going to be also cleaning up my broccoli a little bit as well. And then it's also going to be preparing the dressing. Then we're also going to prepare a little mixture to be able to top off the chicken breasts as soon as they're done cooking. And that's going to be a mixture of some dill, of some capers, of some lemon juice as well, and maybe like a little bit of garlic with some olive oil. I didn't have a particularly strong direction with the chicken breast. All I knew is what I wanted was like a nice lean protein, a nice juicy lean protein alongside like this really, really lovely Caesar salad. For me, the Caesar salad is still kind of the main event, and I have the chicken breast in here for a little bit of extra protein. So let's go ahead and begin with some of my vegetable prep. So we're going to begin with an ingredient that you're not supposed to see in a Caesar salad, okay? And this, once again, is in the interest of making a Caesar salad that breaks tradition a little bit. I wanted a Caesar salad that fits my nutritional needs more. So, is this the classic Caesar salad that is just romaine lettuce and croutons? No, but I'm adding in and I'm adjusting a few things to make it more nutritionally sound for my needs. Food isn't always just about what tastes good, it is also for it to fulfill a function. So, the best thing that you can do to really truly make something quote unquote authentic, right? Real authenticity is making it authentic to your needs as a consumer and really adapting it to your environment. Okay, so Veha, welcome on in. Thus, my inclusion of the cherry tomatoes. That might have seemed like a lot of talking for what is effectively just a decision to include cherry tomatoes, but there's a lot of people that would get on you and say, oh, this is not a traditional Caesar salad, right? But that's not what I'm going for. So, cherry tomatoes, got them all ready to go. And so, a really important thing, I do not like unchopped cherry tomatoes in salads. It is one of my least favorite things. It is one of my biggest pet peeves. Because if you try to go in, right, imagine your typical average, slightly better than average American restaurant. And you go get a side salad, and it's just a big pile of iceberg lettuce and maybe like 2 or 3 cherry tomatoes, and you try to stab it with your fork, right? You try to stab it with your fork, but you can't because it's rolling around all over the place. So, first and foremost, I don't care about it making it less beautiful. I care about a functional salad. And a functional salad begins with actual bite-sized pieces. I love chopped salads. I hate rustic salads with massive leaves. I love chopped salads. I love how easy they are to eat. So, my tomatoes. They've gone all over the place. Okay, so instead of going in there and slicing them all individually, one by one, and taking up way too much time in doing so, we're going to be doing the like Tupperware, the plastic container method. Okay, so I'm just going to grab 2 little lids of basically any plastic container will be just fine. You just want 2 lids of the same size. Please don't fall on me. Please don't fall on me. Guys, these lids are about to fall on me. Please save me. We have such a mess of lids up here. Okay, excellent. 2 lids. Yes, that is the color of the tomato. This is just like a medley of tomatoes. We have some orange, we have some yellow, we have some brown tomatoes. Okay, so everybody, making it really, really nice and simple, making it as easy as possible. All that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take the tomatoes, okay, and we're going to line them up on this thing right here. Let's see. Can I get all of them to fit is the question. Okay, the answer is kind of. So, instead of once again going in there and slicing them all individually, everybody, you want to grab 2 little lids just like so. This is a really, really useful piece of advice, especially if you have to prep a lot of it at once, especially for like, you know, a party or if you're doing some prep kitchen stuff. Okay, get it in there. Nice, sharp knife, my friends. You don't want to crush these tomatoes. You don't want to destroy them. So nice, sharp knife. And we're going in there, we're going in halfway. We're just gently pressing it down, just enough for it to keep it all together, holding it nice and flat, holding it nice and flat, holding it nice and flat. There you go. Hidden tip, if they don't all fit, just eat the rest. That's right, that is a piece of advice that I strongly support. Okay, and everybody take a look. We have a bunch of beautifully halved cherry tomatoes, just like so, nice and easy. But now, we have another logistical thing that we need to consider. We have another problem. So, what's the issue? We have all these beautifully sliced up tomatoes. Well, now that they're sliced, now that we've exposed their flesh, we have exposed just how wet they are. And that moisture can come back to being an issue. Why is that an issue? Why is the moisture of the cherry tomato a problem? Well, really simple. Imagine you put these cherry tomatoes in a salad. You leave it to sit for 20 to 30 minutes. Your salad is going to become soggy and is going to become diluted, right? As the seasoning and the dressing pulls out any of the water inside the cherry tomatoes. So how do we fix this? How do we solve this? We give them a bit of a pre-seasoning. We give them a pre-seasoning with a heavy, heavy, heavy amount of salt, my friends. Okay, heavy amount of salt. You want to mix it in, and the salt is going to pull out any of the excess liquid inside the cherry tomatoes and also season them all in one go, right? Remember, salt penetrates things. Salt pulls out liquid. Salt increases moisture retention, right? Well, that's more so in cooked meats rather than raw vegetables, but still. So get it in there, mix it up, and now we want to taste it. It needs to taste slightly too salty. Perfect. Slightly too salty, because a lot of that salt is going to end up coming out anyways, right? A lot of it is going to end up coming out in the extracted liquid. It's going to dissolve in some of that liquid. So there you go. Those are my tomatoes. They're prepped, they're ready to go. They're waiting for the next task. And all they need to do, my friends, is just sit and chill out for, you know, I want to say somewhere in the realm of 20 to 30 minutes or so. And I think that'll be a good amount of time. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about these before we continue? Okay, next, I believe it is going to be now time for us to process some broccoli. We're going to get some broccoli processed. We're going to get that ready to go. And then we'll do the croutons after, and then we'll do the dressing. Today's stream is actually going to be a really, really short one. All right, so there is a reason why my broccoli is still in the plastic container. There is a reason why I haven't actually done the prep for you guys yet. And that's because to actually properly clean broccoli, you need to clean it after it's been cut. I see a lot of people, they go in there and they rinse out the broccoli under some cold running water. But broccoli can easily be really dirty under all of those different pores. So, all that we're going to do, and for today we're not going to need like a crazy amount of broccoli or anything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab one of these heads. Okay, and we're just gonna go ahead and cut this to about medium florets. You don't want this in your final size, but guys, really big piece of advice. When you're handling broccoli, you never want to just cut directly and shave off the florets. It's going to make a mess all over your cutting board. Also, slice of flesh, welcome on in. Do I eat the stem? The answer is I don't love the texture of the stem, but I love it inside of a broccoli cheddar soup. That is my most typical use for it because it blends down nicely. So guys, go in there. Right, just an unwashed thing of broccoli. We're gonna get to cleaning it up in a second. We just wanna go ahead and go around it and cut off all of those beautiful florets. Do not go any smaller than this. Do not go any smaller. You wanna keep it at this size, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and probably get just a few more, right, for the salad. And I think something like this much is going to be perfect for you today. Now, I still don't want too much broccoli inside of my final salad because this is a Caesar salad at the end of the day. The lettuce still needs to be the main event. So while I'm breaking some authenticity here and adding broccoli into a Caesar salad, I still want it to have the correct balance to it, my friends. Okay? I want it to have the right balance and it's going to come out great and it's going to be delicious. So, this is all my broccoli. All that I'm going to go ahead and do now is just get it soaking in some nice water. I have one of my favorite kitchen tools of all time. I have my salad spinner. Everybody, if you don't own a salad spinner, you are 100% making a mistake. So, taking it, flooding it with some nice cold water, and letting it soak for a little bit, and then we'll do a couple of passes. It'll be nice and easy. In the meantime, I'm just going to go back through this. And we're gonna get all the scraps off the cutting board using one of my favorite kitchen tools, my friends, the bench scraper, the one and only. Okay, there you go, perfect. Filling up that bowl. In the meantime, does anybody have any questions for me before we go ahead and move on? I think it's gonna be now time for us to do the croutons. The croutons are gonna be nice, they're gonna be simple. It's just gonna be some salt and pepper croutons, and it's going to be a really nice way to use up my excess leftover bread. So, just getting my broccoli soaked in. Here we go. I have some leftover, slightly stale bread. Okay, what kind of a bread am I using? This is just like a sourdough everything bread, right? Sourdough everything bread, meaning it has like everything bagel seasoning on the outside. Okay, so I don't necessarily want you guys to go out of your way to go buy a sourdough or go buy a kind of bread that you do not have to be able to make this. The whole point of making croutons, and it might seem a little bit obvious, but the whole point of making croutons is so that you can use up your excess bread before it goes bad. Okay, that is why croutons exist. So instead of always thinking about how do I save this ingredient? How do I give it, how do I give it new life? How do I make this taste like fresh bread again? The answer is you don't. You embrace what it does best. Stale bread loves becoming croutons because of how naturally dry it already is. Okay, I thought that was mold for a second, but those are just the sesame seeds on the outside, and I got really, really scared. Those are just the sesame seeds from the seasoning. Okay, so once again, I want you to use stale bread that you have at home. You want to have this cycle in your kitchen where you know, hey, if this ingredient is fresh, this is what I can do with it. If this ingredient is old, this is what I can do with it. In this case, breadcrumbs and croutons. I cannot emphasize it enough, my friends. Breadcrumbs and croutons. Also, Ozma Amzo, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. So, I'm going to be preheating my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. 375. And we'll do it with convection as well. Okay? And so, as for actually processing the croutons, there is no wrong way to do this particularly. All that I'm going to do though is just cut this up into some nice big chunks. Now, you also want to think about the size of the crouton. I don't want my croutons to come out like breadcrumbs, so I'm going to go in I'm going to make a few cuts. I think croutons about yay big are going to be perfect for today. So some really, really big meaty croutons. And I think that will be perfect. Okay, and let's go ahead and do the other one. Excellent. So again, the size of which that you actually end up cutting your croutons, it is ultimately completely and totally up to you. You can choose the size that you want. You just want to think about the size of the croutons that you like eating for yourself. So don't let me decide for you. You can do them small, you can do them big. It is entirely and totally up to you, my friends. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab a nice big mixing bowl. Inside of said mixing bowl, we're going to go ahead and get some olive oil, some salt, and some pepper. Did I go to culinary school? So Lisa Flesh, the answer is I did not in the slightest, in fact. Never have and never will probably, because I very firmly believe that you don't necessarily need formal education in something to be able to know a lot, because all that schools do, especially culinary school, it doesn't teach you about food, but it teaches you about food industry. And a lot of people that have climbed through food industry, they've never really needed culinary school either. I've only been cooking for, 14 years or so, ever since I was about 7 years old. So I've been cooking a long time. But the reason why I might seem a little bit informant is because I just ask questions. That is the biggest thing that I'm here to show you guys, is to ask questions. Why does this happen? How do I control this happening? What happens if I don't want this? What is the function of all these different things? Why does this work? So asking those kinds of questions, so useful. Next, olive oil. How much olive oil? Dude, I don't know. But the answer is a lot, because you want the bread to basically soak up a lot of that olive oil so that it's able to get crispy from inside and out. That is the difference between toast and croutons. Toast is not buttery, it's not flavorful. It almost has like a hard outside to it, right? Whereas croutons are supposed to be buttery, they're supposed to be oily, they're supposed to be rich, they're supposed to be heavy, okay? So probably a little bit more olive oil than that, if I'm honest. Again, it's okay if it comes out a little bit greasy. You're not really supposed to eat them by themselves, although you can if you would like to. Next, I'm going to season the olive oil directly. So we're going to get a bunch of salt on there. This is probably not enough salt for my uses today. We're also going to go ahead and get a bunch of freshly ground black pepper. So again, everybody, aggressive amount of olive oil. It is easier to season the olive oil than it is to season the bread. Because as soon as the bread soaks up the olive oil, it gets sticky on the outside and the seasoning sticks to it. What that means is you'll get clumps of seasoning. You'll get clumps of seasoning instead of it all being nicely and beautifully and evenly distributed. Okay? So, added that on in. And it doesn't need to be the saltiest, best seasoned, crouton in the world. The only thing that we're going to do now, my friends, is we're just going to get them inside. I'm going to grab some fresh tongs. Get them all mixed into the oil. It'll be perfect. So, again, aggressive amount of olive oil for the amount of croutons that I'm making today. Adding all of my bread inside. I'm not going to try to get any of those crumbs inside, because the point of this is not for it to turn into little crispy breadcrumbs, okay? And just toss it in the oil, my friends. Toss it in the oil, toss it in the oil, cover it with the oil, and you can see how much the bread actually ends up soaking it in. Okay, honestly, better than tongs. You know what's the best tool for the job? It's gonna be my hands. You want that oil all nicely and evenly around the bread, my friends. So mix it before it soaks it up. Mix it before it soaks it up. Mix it and mix it and mix it. You wanna have each and every single little piece of bread absolutely saturated with olive oil. Again, the olive oil is what actually allows it to evenly get nice and crispy. Okay, so you want nice greasy croutons. It's gonna soak it all up, but it's okay. It's just some nice, good, delicious olive oil. And now, ooh, everybody, that timing, my little tiny toaster oven finally got up to temperature. We're so back. We've never been more back in my life. So once again, 375 degrees. I'm doing it with convection, but it doesn't really matter. And we'll just go back in every once in a while and give it a little shake. So, there it is. These will be my breadcrumbs for my croutons for today. Yep, that's an aggressive amount of olive oil on a piece of bread, and it's delicious. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Just giving my tomatoes a little mix. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the first baking device that I can actually find. Just something that is oven safe. Hello? Do I not have any of my trays? Or like baking pans? Okay, I guess the only thing I have available at the moment is a cake pan. So that's okay. That'll be fine. That'll do. That'll do. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna line it up with some foil as well. It'll just help it to not stick as much. It'll also help with the cleanup process later on. Country girls make do. That's right. Not really crazy about using a non-stick cake pan for something like croutons, but I think it'll be okay. And we're just gonna go ahead and dump these bad boys in. It's home cooking after all, right, chef? That's right. So the only thing that we do need to keep in mind is we do not actually want to overcrowd the pan, okay? Because if the pan gets overcrowded, it's not going to get evenly crispy inside of the oven. So as a result, I'm making the executive decision. We're gonna be doing these croutons in 2 batches, my friends. 2 batches, we'll take them out and then we'll go ahead and do the next batch. I don't think I needed to make this many croutons, but I love croutons. Okay, 375 degrees, 15 minutes or so. We're gonna flip it halfway through to make sure it's browning up nice and evenly. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it inside. And so everybody, this is where the texture difference really comes out. The difference between the toast and the difference between croutons. Toast has a hardness to it, but it's still a softness on the inside. Croutons, you want them evenly crispy all the way through, okay? And so they're not interchangeable, and I really don't like it when I see recipes that say, oh, here's how you make croutons, and it's just toasted cut up bread. It is not just toasted cut up bread, it is bread plus fat, my friends. And you can use any kind of bread for this. I want you to use whatever stale bread that you have at home. I don't care if it's shokupan, I don't care if it's Wonder bread, I don't care if it's rye, I don't care if it's whole wheat, I don't care if it's sourdough. Use what you have at home before you go out and you buy more stuff. So everybody, these breadcrumbs, these bread chunks, these croutons, I'm just gonna be waiting on them until the other batch comes on out. Okay, so my broccoli has been soaking in that water for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and exchange the water with some fresh water. And again, everybody, the best way to clean broccoli is not to just rinse it under some cold running water. You wanna really let it soak in. Let it soak in, it'll thank you later, and it'll be perfect. Chef, you got me excited to make mercimek köftesi this Sunday. Oh, Trash Can Cat Mom, I want you to let me know how it goes. Oh, I can't wait to see the final product. That sounds like it's gonna be excellent. Mercimek köftesi is one of my favorite dishes I've made in a long time because it was like so healthy and so delicious and such a nice way to use up lentils. Okay, yes, chef, thank you for teaching me about croutons, chef. Happy to help, Osmo. Halotons? That's right, you could use challah as well. Challah would lead to like a very rich crouton for sure, but if you have leftover challah, then you could use it. Leftover croissants, theoretically, I suppose, then you can. Cinnamon raisin croutons? Yeah, absolutely. All of those are fair game, my friends. Okay, so soaking up the broccoli still. And the question now is, what do we actually have left to do? The answer is not a lot. We have to prepare the dressing for the Caesar salad. We have to cut up the romaine lettuce. We have to cut up the broccoli after we're done washing it. And then we also have to make the dressing for the chicken, and then we sear the chicken. Today is gonna be about the fastest stream that we've had in a good while. So I apologize that we don't have all that much for us to do together. So I guess we can just go ahead and slow down, okay? So let's go on to Mr. Lettuce. Everybody, this is an ingredient that I don't love keeping at home. This is an ingredient that I don't really like to go out of my way to buy, but I had a head of lettuce. I had a head of leftover lettuce, and thus this was my entire inspiration for all the food that we're making today. The most important concept, and I need to hear a yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. The most important concept that I am here to teach you, that's you, hi. The most important concept is using the things that you already have at home. You use the produce. You need to find the intersection between what you want to make and what you already have. You can't just cook everything that you always want to make every single day. And so I want to look at an ingredient and think about all the different amazing things that we can do with it. Now, this is an entire head's worth of romaine lettuce. In a traditional Caesar salad, and the traditional authentic Caesar salad, this is a dish that is done tableside. It is done tableside, and then it is served over the whole romaine lettuce leaves as is. Now, I hate doing that. Also, a symbolic symbol. Welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Who's waiting? I don't know if somebody's waiting. I don't know if you just got my hopes up. Okay? So, everybody, really, really important. Once again, I do not like doing salads with whole leaves. I don't love salads that are rustic. I don't love salads with massive chunks. Okay? Oh, there's a Vosh rating coming? I see. Well, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Once people start piling in, we'll do a little recap on everything that we've done so far. So I'm going to pause on my lettuce rant in the meantime. Okay? It'll be perfect. It'll be good. Great. Excellent. Welcome on in. Hello to everybody that's just coming on in. For everybody that is joining us now, it is lovely to have you. Welcome to the best cooking show on Twitch. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a modified Caesar salad. And it's a modified Caesar salad because we have a few not authentic ingredients. So glad to see you streaming again, Chef. Thank you, Deep Sea. It's lovely to have you. Welcome on in, Funny Paradox, and also Drag as well. So, everybody, we're doing a modified Caesar salad today. I love Caesar salad. I love the flavors of a really good, authentic Caesar salad. I love the dressing. I love how much oomph it has. But for me, it is barely a salad. It is massive leaves of lettuce with croutons. And so, in my Caesar salad, we're going to be making a couple of adjustments. It's not going to be authentic, but it's going to be delicious, it's going to be flavorful, and it's going to achieve the things that I want it to achieve. Hence, my modified Caesar salad. The really not authentic additions are the chickpeas, the cherry tomatoes, and the broccoli. I love the butteriness of the chickpeas. I really, really love like the juiciness and the acidity of a cherry tomato. And I love the crunch and the way that broccoli really soaks up and holds onto dressing. So we're breaking tradition, we're breaking convention, but it's going to be delicious. So, at the moment, we have some homemade croutons going because store-bought croutons straight up suck. Croutons should exist as a way of using up your old leftover stale bread, my friends. Okay? You should not be going out of your way to buy bread for croutons or to be buying bagged croutons. It is meant to use up stale old bread. Okay? And so, I had some stale old leftover sourdough bread, and I currently have them in the oven at the moment. So let's just go ahead and pull them out quickly. And just see how they're doing. In total, 375 degrees, about 15 minutes or so. Everybody that's coming in, everybody that's here, welcome on in. If you have any cooking questions whatsoever, you can always ask me. It can be about this dish, it can be about something else. Additionally, if you'd like to support the cooking show, !Patreon is the best way to do so. My goal is to be able to do this full time one day, and so any and all help would be appreciated. So right now, my friends, they're beginning to get nice and golden. They're beginning to get nice and beautiful. Only little thing I'm gonna do them is I'm just going to give them a nice little flipping session. Okay, just to make sure that they're all cooking up as evenly as possible. Or maybe not even an individual flip. Maybe we just give them a shake. We give them a shake, we'll flip them over that way eventually, and it'll be more than fine. So, back in they go, and we want them crunchy, we want them really, really delicious. Frame rate drop on the stove? Whoa, you're totally right. What happened with the stove? Hello? Camera? Oh my. Yeah, no, that definitely just dropped. Okay, my fault, guys. I didn't lock my settings correctly. All right, excellent. The shutter speed is no longer set to 1/32. That was not good. I don't think it was 1/32. I think it was a lot lower than that. Okay, croutons, give them a little shake. Back into the oven they go. And there is no exact amount of time that is perfect for a crouton. Okay? There's no exact amount of time. You want to eyeball it. You want to go by feel, okay, until it hits the right amount of crispy for you. And that's just going to depend on how wet your bread is, the temperature inside of your oven, okay? It's kind of difficult to mess up. You just want to babysit it to make sure that it doesn't burn. Okay, everybody, romaine lettuce. Once again, we're breaking tradition, we're breaking convention here. I do not like rustic salads with massive leaves of lettuce. Okay? Because they're difficult to eat. The dressing gets all over your lips as you're shoving and folding in the lettuce into your mouth. Okay? So I want a chopped salad, and by God, I will have my chopped salad. Okay? So, romaine lettuce, and we're just gonna do some nice big chunks. Nice big chunks, just like so. I love chopped salads. I love how easy they are to eat. Okay? And that is what I'm going to be going for today. Okay? It was always like a thing, especially with like my Russian family, where they were so confused about American salads with big pieces of lettuce, because our salads were always like the really, really chopped up ones. Okay? Let's get all of that lettuce into this bowl. Please and thank you. Okay? And just keep on going. Keep on going. Get it done. Just stack them all up. Was a traditional Russian salad like? That's a good question, Darby doll. The answer is it is a salad with either mayonnaise or sour cream, usually with dill, usually a lot of cucumbers, a lot of tomatoes as well, sometimes cabbage in them, eggs, cheese. That's what most like traditional Russian salads, home Russian salads look like. Okay, chunked it up, gonna get that bad boy thrown into the bowl, and last but not least, this bunch of romaine lettuce. Okay. Chunk it up, my friends. Chunk it up, chunk it up, chunk it up, chunk it up. Would love to see you make one sometime. Yeah, that sounds good, Darby doll. I just don't feel like that's the kind of a thing that I don't know. That's not really the kind of food that I make super often. Okay, I'm just going back in. I'm checking on my breadcrumbs or my croutons. If I keep mixing those up, I'm going to go insane. Okay, so all that we did so far, my friends, we just cut up the romaine lettuce. Next, my broccoli should be done soaking just about now. And we're going to go ahead and use one of my favorite kitchen tools of all time, my friends, the salad spinner. I love my salad spinner to death. Everybody should own a salad spinner, and I'm going to go ahead and show you why right now. So, in cooking, one of the most important concepts is that moisture is the enemy. You either want more of it, you want less of it, or you want to keep the same amount of moisture. Almost all of cooking is moisture management, my friends. And I'm going to say it again. Almost all of cooking is moisture management. Now, broccoli, it soaks up dressings exceptionally well. Now, there's a problem. It also soaks up water exceptionally well. Right? So, how do we get rid of it? Well, we could air dry it for a few hours in the fridge, or we could use something like one of my favorite kitchen tools, the salad spinner. No need to use up towels, no need to use up paper towels. Just take it and take it for a spin. Take it for a spin. Take it for a spin. So yeah, Allie, what you've just described, you can't eat raw broccoli because it upsets your tummy. That is a common experience that people have with broccoli. You know, I get it a little bit sometimes too. So definitely not ideal, but I still quite like it. Okay, so give it a little spin, my friends, give it a little spin, and you can see already, look at how much water came out of the broccoli. Look at how much came out. That is exactly why we go through this process. Okay, I bet this feels good as fuck for the broccoli. That's right, Godzillas. Chat, you wish this was you. You wish you were being taken for a spin like this. I wish I was taken for a spin. I wish a beautiful woman would ride a motorcycle, and I would be holding onto her shoulders. That's what I want. And I'm still somehow not yet experienced. Okay, so the broccoli is getting to enjoy this before I am. Tragedy, my life, isn't it? Okay, broccoli, out onto the cutting board. Excellent. So, remember, we intentionally kept the florets really, really big in the beginning stages because we didn't want it to completely fall apart. The more that we cut it, the more that it ends up falling apart. It's okay for it to fall apart into the salad, but we don't want it to fall apart in the cleaning stages. Now, we're going to go ahead and just quickly go back to my lovely croutons. See how those guys are coming along? We want them to get nice and crispy. You can hear that sound now, that they are indeed becoming so crispy. Give them a little shake. And everybody, I think we have a few soft spots that we still need to finish taking care of. So sometimes it might be a little bit more than 15 minutes. And if that's the case, that's okay too. Ooh, I just put a hot thing of oil into my mouth. What kind of bread? Darby doll, the answer is whatever leftover bread that you have at home. Deep Sea Fission, thank you so much for the gifted sub. But, The answer is any kind of leftover bread that you have at home. I know that seems like a bit of a cop-out, but in my case, I'm using a sourdough. I don't want you to go out of your way to buy sourdough. I want you to use what you have. Okay? So that's why I was so reluctant to answer your question. Okay, everybody, broccoli, knife. Now, for the salad, look at this piece. Do you want a piece of broccoli like this in your salad? I want to hear a no chef from everybody watching, please and thank you. I want little, dainty, petite florets, just like so, with not too much stem. The point of it is to really soak up the dressing, my friends, okay? So you want a bunch of little guys. You want a bunch of little guys that are gonna be easy to eat, that don't take up an entire forkful, okay? So, Green, thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Take it and cut off all the florets, my friends. Be super gentle, be super delicate, be super delicate, be super delicate. There you go, beautiful. Oh, we got a hype train? That's right. I still don't know what to do as a creator whenever a hype train happens, other than going like, ooh, yeah, baby, hype train, we're so back, or something. Unless that's what you guys wanted to hear exactly. In which case, I guess I can do that. So, go in there, my friends, and just really, really carefully. You want the littlest, tiniest baby florets. You never want to cut directly through like this. You never want to do that. It will make a mess all over your cutting board. Okay? So very gently picking them up and putting them into the salad. Because these stems are a little bit too tough, they're a little bit too chewy for my purposes inside of a salad today. Okay. Okay. Excellent. That's all looking wonderful so far. And then I'm going to be walking you guys through on how to do homemade dressing, which is the most important part about a Caesar salad, and one of the times that people kind of mess up the most. They do based on a mayonnaise, they don't include the anchovies. Even if anchovies aren't present in a super classic Caesar salad like the original kind, I think they're so important. Okay. So what's the plan with the scraps? The answer is I don't have a plan, Darby doll. Normally I'm very big about like, oh, let's minimize waste. But honestly, given the fact that we do have the rest of the broccoli stems, I am inclined to actually save this one. So I'm gonna put it in with the rest of the broccoli stems, and what we'll probably do is we'll make a broccoli cheddar soup, or any other kind of broccoli pureed soup. Okay, so there you go, that's done, that's put away. And also at the exact same time, the croutons should be done. So let's go ahead, let's pop them out of the oven. And they should be nice and golden and crispy all the way around, my friends. Just like that. Homemade croutons you cannot beat. Homemade croutons are so savory, they're so crispy, they're so flavorful, they're so warm, okay? Trust me, you do not want to be using store-bought croutons. It is a bag of stale toasted bread, okay? It is a bag of stale toasted bread, and that is not what you want. You are overpaying for it. The point of a crouton, once again, is to use it up. So, chef, why is it called a Caesar salad? There was a guy named Caesar Cardini that invented it in the 20s, I believe, is what happened. Okay, so there you go, all of them nice and crispy, no more soft spots. We're preheating up the oven again for the rest of the croutons that I have, but in the meantime, this batch can come on out, my friends, okay? Get them out of here, and then we'll add in the next guys. Okay? Oh, I love croutons. I love good quality homemade croutons. It feels like such an innocuous thing to be like, oh, I love this thing. But trust me, croutons can be so special. Croutons can be so, so, so delicious, okay? Especially if you make them yourself. These are not, okay, the Applebee's bagged ranch croutons. They're warm, they're crispy, they're buttery, they're super, super delicious. Okay, I know it sounds like I'm dragging it, but that is how passionate I am about homemade croutons, my friends. So, heating up the oven again. As soon as it comes back up to temperature, we'll go in with the next batch of these bad boys. Also, thank you so much to Deep Sea Fission for the gift of sub. Thank you once again. Very sweet of, very sweet of you. Okay, so just waiting to go ahead and put that guy back on in. And in the meantime, I'm also just gonna go ahead and clean off my cutting board. Clean it off, get all those scraps out of here, get them out of sight, and get them out of mind. So what if you really want croutons but no stale bread? Toast it? The answer is this, Darby doll. You can use fresh bread. You can still use fresh bread for croutons. It is just that stale bread is best for a crouton. Fresh bread will still be perfect in a crouton. That you do not have to worry about. So, lettuce, broccoli, next. Remember my cherry tomatoes, my friends. My cherry tomatoes. This is going to bring in another level of of flavor and texture into the salad. Thank you so much for the gifted sub to Darby doll. Really appreciate it. Okay, everybody, cherry tomatoes. Remember, we hit them with a bunch of salt to get all that excess liquid out that could have made our salad soggy. Now, you can see we're just gently pushing it out. We don't want to really strain this or anything, nothing crazy like that. Okay, beautiful. And just take it and add that on into the bowl. I love tomatoes. Nice and properly seasoned too. Excellent. So the last of my unconventional ingredients, everybody, and I promise it's going to stop after this, is going to be some chickpeas. I love chickpeas. I love how buttery chickpeas are. I love how delicious they are. Okay, and I want a Caesar salad that makes a little bit more sense nutrition-wise. It is otherwise just lettuce and croutons, and lettuce and croutons is not particularly a nutritionally sound combination. I wanted some extra greens, I wanted some extra protein inside of it, hence the broccoli, hence the cherry tomatoes, my friends. Okay, my dad forced me to raw tomato, and now I don't like them. So Darby doll, I'm going to tell you something right now. Assuming you're American, which you may very well not be, American tomatoes, generally speaking, suck. They're bland, they have no flavor, and so they're just wet and people associate them with being slimy. If you want to eat a raw tomato and enjoy it, try doing a pre-seasoned cherry tomato like this that's been previously salted. It's going to be so much better. A lot of people, especially in the United States, they think they hate tomatoes because we're so used to the really shitty slices of massive beefsteak tomatoes that taste like water and ice. There is no flavor, there is no aroma. And that is one of the biggest tragedies about the quality of American produce or the lack thereof. Right. Okay, my oven is preheated once again. I'm going to go ahead and get my croutons back inside. Excellent. Should I try growing my own? That is the best way to consistently get them unless you have access to a farmer's market. And what kind are good for eating raw? So Darby, my answer for you is the following. Once we're in tomato season, which should be now, I believe it's late summer, late August, can somebody confirm? Now would be the best time to get into tomatoes, but year-round cherry tomatoes, they tend to be the sweetest because they're grown in greenhouses and thus they don't really correspond with seasonality. Okay, otherwise, for the tomatoes that you can eat raw as it is, any heirloom variety would be good, any vine tomato. All tomatoes are good for eating raw, besides plum tomatoes. Plum tomatoes, they just tend to be fleshy and not too juicy. Do I have any grilled cheese tips? I do. In fact, we did a grilled cheese on the stream before, I believe. Or maybe we did a quesadilla. My response to that, though, the best way to do grilled cheese is to butter the pan and to press it. Butter the pan, don't butter the bread itself. Butter the pan, spread it out, toast it, and then once you flip it, you add more butter. Spread it out, press it, and it'll be all set to go. Chef, what about roasting the chickpeas a little bit? We can do that. I'm not going to do that because I think that's too much effort for something like a Caesar salad. If you wanted to roast the chickpeas, the contemporary method, you microwave it for a good amount of time, it dehydrates it, and then it gets really crispy once it's roasted. Okay. Ooh, guys, these croutons, by the way, perfect. Really tasty. These are some really good croutons. Okay, so chickpeas. We gotta get them, we gotta drain them, we gotta rinse them. We don't want any of that canned chickpea liquid inside this time, my friends. It's just gonna make it gummy and weird. So make sure that we go ahead and thoroughly rinse it off. I have a tiny little baby can of chickpeas. And all I'm doing is I'm just giving them a quick little rinse. Rinse it off, my friends. Rinse off all that canning liquid. Get them out of there. Get them out of sight. Ah, I do love chickpeas in salad. I love the extra protein that it provides. I love the butteriness of whenever you end up biting into a chickpea. It is one of my most pleasurable experiences, and it is something that I will shove and force into salads whenever possible. Okay, so draining off most of the excess liquid, my friends, because again, you really, really do not want your salad to be soggy by the end of it all. Adding in the chickpeas now, and last but not least, it is now time for us to officially make the dressing. This is the part that we've all been waiting for. This is the part that I've been waiting for, at least, the part that I find to be the most exciting. We're gonna be making our own dressing from scratch. It's gonna be made out of Parmesan, out of some egg yolk, out of some Worcestershire sauce, out of some anchovies, out of some olive oil, and out of some lemon juice. Is everybody ready? I wanna hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please. And thank you. And now, while you're still looking at my beautiful, colorful salad, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a few things into my dishwasher while I have a moment of time. Okay. And with that, I do believe we can begin talking about the dressing. So, everybody, for my dressing today, we're going to be using, once again, just because I can't get enough of it at this point, I'm going to be using my food processor. I'm going to be using my food processor because it allows us to slowly trickle in the olive oil while it's getting whipped up. Okay? So, I got my food processor. I have it all set. I have it all ready to go. And we're going to begin with a few of our components. First, we're going to start off with half a juice, my friends. Remember, you can always add in more lemon juice, but you can't take any away. Sometimes lemons are really, really, really aggressively acidic, okay? So, I'm gonna take it, I'm going to cut it in half, and because I don't want to strain my poor, dainty, petite, feminine little paws squeezing a lemon over and over again, work smarter, not harder. I have a lovely citrus press, flesh side down, my friends, not flesh side up. Flesh side down always, even if it looks counterintuitive. Take it, squeeze it down, and get all that lovely lemon juice inside. Half a lemon. We start off with half a lemon, and if we need more, we will add more. Remember, everybody, we can always add, but we can't take any away, okay? So, lemon juice, in it goes. Excellent. Goodbye to that lemon half, and I'll go ahead and come back to this one at a later date. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab an egg, as well as my Parmesan. So just one egg. We're just going to be using the egg yolk today because the egg yolk contains all the lecithin that we need to build up an emulsification. Okay, and so traditional Caesar salads are not actually treated like a mayonnaise. They're not treated by like really, really slowly whipping in the olive oil. It's not as much of a stable emulsion as some people would think it is, okay? But that is the bit of a modification that we're doing. We're going to be going after a creamy Caesar salad dressing above all else. So, everybody, egg. Raw eggs in food can sometimes be okay. Something with the acidity can, pseudo cook it / sanitize it. But at the end of the day, a lot of the supermarket eggs that you get, the salmonella and risk of anything is usually on the outside of the egg. If you would like, you can look up how to pasteurize eggs for raw egg consumption, if that makes you more comfortable. But in my case, I will not be. So, egg, crack it in half. Now, I'm going to be using the eggshell, okay, to just easily separate all of the egg white, my friends. So take a look, eggshell, pass it back and forth, and we're basically cutting off the white. We're cutting off the whites, cutting them off, okay? Because none of that is going to particularly lend itself too well to what we're doing. The egg whites can make it too custardy, as in not custardy, it can make it too spongy, okay? So, there you go. That's an egg yolk right there, all ready to go for us. Next, we're going to have to go ahead and do the Parmesan cheese. So, I'm going to be using one of my favorite kitchen tools, once again, everybody, the handy dandy microplane. If you don't own a microplane, you are making a mistake. I could use the food processor to grate down the Parmesan, but it's really easy. Where did I get the shirt? Neophoric. Neo4, as in the number 4, IC. Braven. I love Neophoric. They have some really cool clothes. They have some bodysuits that I really want. Okay, Parmesan. Now, how much Parmesan do we need? The answer is the sky is the limit, my friends. Especially when it comes to Parmesan for the Caesar salad dressing. You want an aggressive amount. Okay, so take it and grate it up. And by the way, to clarify, this isn't traditional, authentic Parmigiano Reggiano. This is American Parmesan. Not the canned, pre-ground stuff, but it is still American Parmesan. What that means is it's a lot less intense. It's not as intense, it's not as salty, but that's okay too. It'll still be delicious. Everybody, let's check on my croutons because they've been going for about 9 minutes or so. 8 minutes. Grab them, pull them out, give them a little shake, and then we'll throw them back inside until they're properly crispy and toasted all over, my friends. So take them and give them a little shake. Shake it, shake it, shake it, just to flip it around. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Beautiful, excellent. Distribute it, make sure it's all laying in there nice and flat. And let's get that back into the oven. Okay, back to the dressing, my friends. So, keep in mind, we have a bunch of really, really salty components going into this dressing. We have the Parmesan cheese. We're gonna have the anchovies. We're gonna have the Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna have the Dijon mustard. So, do not worry about additional salt at this stage, my friends. Okay? So, Parmesan, all of that going inside to be able to make us this beautiful dressing. I'm gonna use my handy dandy little bench scraper once again, just to easily pick all of it up. There you go. Next, anchovies, Worcestershire sauce, Dijon mustard, and black pepper. We're gonna start it off with the black pepper. Everybody, as usual, aggressive amount. Aggressively peppery, please. Thank you very much. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and do the Dijon mustard. Or rather, I don't have Dijon mustard, I have whole grain mustard, but once it blends up, it'll basically emulate the texture of a Dijon mustard. So whole grain mustard going in. I'm gonna do a little bit more than that because I really love whole grain mustard. Okay, next, my friends, we have some anchovies. And these are gonna get blended up into the dressing, and it's going to all make it really nice and delicious as well. So we don't need any of the oil from the anchovies. We're gonna do maybe about 3 fillets or so and get them inside. So come on, out you go, please. Thank you. I like a jar of it so that I can easily close it up after. I should probably do the initial one over the sink. Okay, there you go. Now I should be able to get them out. Please, and thank you. Please. They really don't want to leave the container right now. Can we please exit the container, guys? Is that so much to ask for? Okay, there you go. That is actually right there, 3 fillets. 3 fillets, we're done with that. We don't need any more anchovies for you today, my friends. That's going to be the perfect amount. And last but not least, a little teeny tiny splash of Worcestershire sauce, my friends. That is also how you pronounce it. Not to be like all like, oh, I don't know how you pronounce Worcestershire sauce. It's pronounced Worcestershire. A lot of these syllables are gone there. Little tiny splash of it. You don't want too much. You're going to have a lot of that umami. You're going to have a lot of that oomph from the anchovies as it is. Okay, so acidity from the Dijon mustard, from the lemon juice, saltiness, meatiness from the fish sauce, from the Parmesan, from the anchovy fillets. Okay, the egg yolk is going to make it nice and creamy. And then while this is getting blended up, we're going to be going ahead and doing the olive oil in there as well. So now you could do this theoretically by hand with exclusively using a whisk. That is, however, incredibly laborious. And I am not going to do that at all. If you would like to, you can put this into a nice large bowl, wet towel to hold it around it, and slowly whisk it to incorporate the olive oil. Why do we need to slowly whisk it in? Because otherwise the sauce is going to break. You need to slowly incorporate the olive oil so that it's nice and smooth and creamy and rich, right? I feel like the term emulsification oftentimes gets misused in a kitchen setting, but this is one of the few times where I actually mean it when I say this is an emulsion. This is an emulsification, and so in order to achieve a nice, stable, creamy sauce, the key is to not add too much of the oil at once, okay? So I'm just getting a little bit of space ready. I'm gonna get the food processor out and ready to go. Where's the food processor? Hello? Thank you. Come back to me. Hey, little guy. Okay, excellent. food processor is set up. And so the food processor, the magic of this is that it has the ability to slowly drizzle things in, which we're all going to go ahead and see live. The legendary food processor, that's right. So we're going to begin purely just to incorporate all of these existing ingredients together, my friends. Just gonna take it and I'm gonna go ahead and pop it in. Okay, pop that in, lock that, and we're just going to pulse it to combine it. We're going to get that paste, okay? So a powerful blender can cause it to emulsify, specifically with an immersion blender. But the issue with a blender as opposed to a food processor is that a blender can whip up the olive oil so much that the olive oil turns bitter. I forgot the exact science behind it and the exact scientific reasoning, but the point is you don't want something too aggressive, okay? So the biggest thing is I just want to make sure that the anchovy fillets are broken down, the cheese and the egg, they're all mixed up together, okay? So that looks excellent. And now, I'll just be able to go ahead and pour in some olive oil while it's going. While it's going, I have this lovely little feeder up here. And it's just going to drizzle it in for us, my friends. It's going to go ahead and combine it, and we're going to get a creamy, a rich, a delicious Caesar dressing. I just don't know when it stops pouring. I don't know when to stop it. Oh, it's still going. It's still whipping it up, my friends. It's still going. It's going to get nice and creamy. It's going to get nice and rich. It's going to get nice and delicious. So just letting it go, letting it run by itself. And it seems like my croutons, my second batch of croutons, are also going to be nice and done. Okay. Is it still going? Is it still drizzling? I don't think it is. Let's go ahead and stop it. Other preferred brands of anchovies. Bike, I actually don't have a very good answer for you. I think I'm quite new to buying anchovies. So, I won't be able to answer your question the best. Guys, I need you to understand. Whoa, hello, that's not what I wanted to do. I accidentally dropped a few things. But I wanted you to understand how perfect my Caesar dressing is. Okay? It is rich. It is smooth. It is exceptionally creamy. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at it. Look at it go. Give it a smell. Smells great. Smells like Parmesan. Smells like olive oil. Give it a taste. Ooh. Now, that was an aggressive amount of mustard that I think I added to it. Aggressive amount of Parmesan for sure. Taste the anchovies though. Now, I might blend this a little bit longer with not just olive oil. I might do the addition of some plain like vegetable oil or canola oil or like avocado oil. And the reason for that is because the olive oil can easily become overpowering as an element inside of the Caesar salad. Okay, so we definitely don't want it to be too heavy on the olive oil or anything. Ooh, that was good though. A little bit much on the fishiness. I think I could have done probably one less anchovy fillet. So like on the palate at the end there, I definitely tasted more than I would like to. But I think that's quite good. I think the only thing that this is going to need is just an additional amount of oil. So let's go ahead and get it back inside. Let's get it all ready to go. And we're just gonna drizzle in some regular old canola oil until we get a final desired outcome. Yeah, so the anchovy bones also, they did get blended up effectively, so that's not really something that we need to worry about at all in this case. Okay, get it back in there, get it all set up, and then we're going to go ahead and do. I have some canola oil. We're just gonna go ahead and whip some of that in. Whip it in, let it do its thing. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a few things away while that's all happening, while that's all being said and done. I love Caesar salad. I love Caesar salad dressing. What's canola oil from? Really good question. The answer is rapeseeds. So I believe they rebranded it for the United States because that's what they were called. There's grapeseed oil and there's also rapeseed oil. So that's what canola oil is. It is rebranded other kind of oil. Do you like culinary history, or are you more interested in learning new recipes and perfecting what you know? Green, I am absolutely interested in culinary history. I'm interested in culinary history and how that ties into why do we eat the things that we do now, right? So culinary history is a massive topic of personal interest. Okay, is it still whipping in any oil? I don't believe so. It should now be nicely and fully emulsified. It should be finished. That should be our final product, and it should be rich and creamy and cheesy, my friends. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it one last taste. We'll give it one last adjustment, and then we could probably combine the salad at this point. So come over here, come with me. Look at my beautiful, no, those are my croutons. Look at my beautiful homemade Caesar dressing, my friends. It is rich, it is salty, it is flavorful, it is delicious. Okay, so give that a little taste. Oh yeah. That bit of extra oil, guys, really helped to just balance everything else out that we have going on. Okay, because this salad is going to be a lot of romaine lettuce, it's going to be a lot of broccoli, it's going to be a lot of tomatoes, it's going to be a lot of chickpeas. We want a nice rich dressing to be able to compensate for all of that. That is a nice rich dressing. That is delicious, everybody. So we're going to go ahead. Yep, that fishiness, by the way, no longer as aggressively on the palate anymore, right? Because we got a little bit of oil in there. It helped to balance everything out. It helped to mellow out some of the flavors. You don't want to do just straight olive oil. It does end up being like too much just straight olive oil flavor. Okay? And so, as an advocate of pre-chopped salads, that also means I am an advocate of pre-mixed salads with the dressing. We salted the tomatoes. We did it all. We did the croutons. We did the broccoli. I'm getting all of this lovely dressing out. I don't care if it ends up being too much dressing. I want it all, and I want it all to properly and heavily and generously coat the salad. Look how creamy it is. Look how rich it is. Look how thick it is. It's got the flavor of the whole grain mustard. It has everything that you could possibly want inside of it. Okay? And we're gonna mix it and taste it for seasoning. So once again, not a traditional Caesar salad. It has a few modifications. It has a few changes made to it, but it's still gonna come out great and delicious. So that's done. We're gonna grab 2 spoons and we're gonna mix it together. Some people, they mix in the croutons into the salad. I do not like it that way because the croutons end up getting a little bit soggy. So the croutons will purely go on top at the end of the day. So get the dressing in there, my friends, and get all that lettuce, get all of that broccoli nice and coated. Get the tomatoes in there, get the chickpeas in there, get everything. Get it together, get it together. Get it together. Get it all together. We want a nice, properly, beautifully dressed salad. It's creamy, it's rich, it's thick, it's nicely and properly seasoned. It's got a little bit of fishiness to it in the most pleasant way. But guys, the anchovies, I'm telling you, it just takes it so much further than without. A lot of people are afraid of anchovies. I think like children's media, especially like, ooh, vegetables bad, anchovies bad. It really scared a lot of people, I think. Okay, there you go. Look at it. Look at my salad, my friends. It is creamy, it is rich, it is thick, and it is flavorful above all else. This is what my ideal modified Caesar salad is supposed to be, everybody. That's what it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to do for us. Okay? W salad. That's right, Mr. Genie. You got it. Okay. 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 And now, my friends, before we go ahead and we tuck it away and we put it away, we're going to give it a few more tosses and then we're going to taste it for seasoning. But given how salty that dressing is, I think the salad should be perfectly seasoned. The broccoli is going to just really soak up as much of that dressing as humanly possible. Okay, is this a proper Caesar salad? Let's give it a taste. Let's find out. Grab a nice crunch of that. That is excellent. Guys, that is delicious. That is a lovely Caesar salad, I must say. Going to make Caesar at work after this? Well, now's a great time to do it. Just mix it in a little bit more, because I really want to make sure that the dressing gets into every single groove and crevice that it needs to be in. There you go. Broccoli really soaks up a lot of oil when I try to cook them. That is true, Eskia, because it's so porous. Broccoli soaks it up because of all the little holes, all the little perforations that it has up in the florets. That is what broccoli is like. A lot of people, when they say they're sauteing broccoli, they don't actually mean it. So yeah, steaming it might actually do you some good. Well, that is quite tasty. That is quite yummy. Give that another little taste. Oh, okay. Actually, I want more Parmesan inside. I lied. It needs a few more things. It's gonna need more Parmesan. Let's get them in there. You can never have too much cheese, my friends. Ugh. More cheese. Topping with more Parmesan is pretty normal. Yeah, I just tasted it and it's missing a little bit of salinity and it's missing a little flavor with the Parmesan. And I think the fishiness is still coming out. I would have ideally liked to have probably used a little less anchovy in retrospect still. But this is gonna be more than fine. There you go. Let's give that another shot. Let's mix in all this Parmesan. But yeah, if you did this with a Parmigiano Reggiano, my friends, because of, again, how much more aged it is, because of how much more salty it is, you would not need to use nearly as much as I did. But for an American-style Parmesan, not as salty, not as cured, not as intense. Okay. All right. Excellent. Beautiful. And you can already see the texture of it collapsing ever so slightly, and it becomes more dense. All right, let's give that another tasting session. Hot. Yeah, it's quite good. Okay. I've settled. I think the Caesar salad's all done, my friends. So, one last recap session on the salad. We're gonna cook up the chicken and then we're going to be out of here. So, what do I have on hand? This is my modified homemade Caesar salad. We made some homemade croutons as well. That's going to be added on top later. We had some broccoli, we have some chickpeas, we have some cherry tomatoes that we salted, some romaine lettuce. We made a dressing out of Parmesan, out of anchovies, out of Worcestershire sauce, okay, out of an egg yolk, out of some whole grain mustard as well. And now, I'm gonna take a second to clean up my station. Is everybody still watching? I wanna hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody in the chat, please. Mesmeralda, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. Okay, I'm getting my salad in the fridge. I'm gonna just put it away for a little bit, and then we can go ahead and proceed with the chicken, my friends. So I'll get that out. I'll get that all ready to go for us today, and our purposes. Excellent. Whew. New here, first time viewer, but I watch a lot of cooking streams and mod for a few. Well, Lloyd Velos, welcome on in. Who do you watch mostly? Dara, what do you think of this translate to Blahaj Bites? It's a little corny, Mesmeralda. It's a little corny, but if it makes you happy, then Godspeed. That's what I have for you. Okay. Getting rid of a few things, guys. Just give me a moment. Put them away, get them out of sight, get them out of mind, and then we can proceed with all of our other business, because Lord knows we have some stuff to do. That's done. That's put away. Still got a few more dishes to take care of. And then we can go ahead and proceed with the chicken. This thing's huge. What are you pointing at? My knife? You wanted my knife? Sorry, my roommate started pointing at what? What about? You want a crouton? You want a freshly made, warm crouton? Enjoy. I love croutons. Okay. Sorry, my mouth is full of crouton now because I got convinced, pushed into it by my roommate to eat a crouton. And so now it's a little difficult to talk. I'm also LGBT, great. Also, you mod for Eat at Dad's? Eat at Dad's is great. Love Eat at Dad's. Okay. I'm not familiar with the others, I have to say. So, everybody, my Caesar salad is complete. Now, it is time for us to properly sear a beautiful chicken breast. I'm gonna need another yes, chef. I need everybody's full attention for this one. So, we have this chicken breast. We dry brine it with some salt. Helps make it juicier, helps make it more flavorful. Let's put that to the side. We have a pan. I'm gonna add in a splash of oil, a little bit of oil, just to help make sure that the chicken doesn't stick. Now, you do not need a non-stick pan to be able to cook chicken. If your meat sticks to the pan, it's not because your temperature wasn't high enough. If your meat sticks to the pan, it's because you did not heat it up evenly. I'm gonna say it again. If your meat sticks to the pan, it's because you didn't heat it up evenly. I'm here to show you, I'm here to teach you how to properly master something like stainless steel. A lot of home cooks struggle with stainless steel, but it doesn't need to be that way, my friends. The key is this: heat it up medium low heat for a long period of time. I'm gonna say it again. The key is to heat it up medium low. So many food influencers out there, they say that you need water to dance on the pan. Absolute nonsense. Don't listen to them. That's called the light and frost effect. It doesn't actually have that much to do with non-stickiness as you would think. Okay? What really makes sure that your pan is not too sticky is if it heats up evenly. Everybody, high heat, 2 minutes, you put down water, yeah, the water will sizzle and dance. But there's hot spots and cool spots. So when I say heat it up slowly, I mean heat it up slowly. Everybody, medium-low heat. Set it and let it go ahead and do its thing. Super important, super essential, and yet so many people sleep on this. So many people. Medium-low heat. It is critical. Critical, critical, critical. Okay? Chicken breast especially loves to stick. Why? Because it's lean. Because it doesn't have any fat. Protein loves sticking to the pan. So we need a little bit of extra oil to be able to compensate. And guys, once again, heat it up slowly. Be patient. Give it some love. Give it some time. Give it some energy. Okay, let it go ahead and do its own thing here. Now, in the meantime, let's go ahead and get Mr. Chicken Breast ready to go. And then we'll also do a dressing that goes over the top of the chicken. So, everybody, I want you to take note. Look at the chicken breast. That chicken breast is wet. Now, you know what happens? If we add a wet piece of schmeat onto a hot pan filled with oil, congratulations. It's going to splash. It's going to splash, it's going to splatter, it's going to make a mess, and you're not going to get even browning. So how do we avoid such a disaster from taking place? Well, we are going to enlist the help of maybe the most important kitchen tool alive, the paper towel. We're gonna pat it dry. We're gonna pat it bone dry, my friends. I mean, not even a scrap of moisture will be left on the surface of this chicken. Okay, because we don't want it to stick. We don't want it to splash. We don't want it to immediately cool down the pan. Now, the chicken, contrary to what it looks like, has already been seasoned with some salt. We're going to make a little dressing out of it, out of some lemon juice, out of some capers. Okay, just something really, really nice and yummy because I have some leftover capers in my fridge. So we're gonna get to that, and also some dill. Okay, so guys, take a look. Patting it dry thoroughly, like your life depends on it. Pat it dry thoroughly, like your life depends on it. Okay, the rest of the seasonings for the chicken, it'll just come on after in the form of that like dressing slash sauce that I was talking about before. Okay, my chicken tenders have come off. That's okay. That's all right. That happens to the best of us sometimes. Heat that pan slowly, my friends. Again, no high heat, medium low, and give it extra time. 5 minutes, 6 minutes of pure heating up action. Okay, and trust me, you will see how the meat glides. Guys, this is an IKEA branded stainless steel pan. This isn't an all-clad. This is not a Mavier. It's not a fancy piece of steel. It is plain stainless steel, and I am here to teach you how to master it because so many home cooks get so misled. It is a tragedy how much nonstick has overtaken the market, and it gives you an inferior sear. You need food to stick a little bit because that's what actually gives you significant browning, and also the aluminum that they use for nonstick pans is so thin and so cheap, and it immediately loses all of its heat. Everybody, nonstick pans have their usages when you need very low heat nonstick action with minimal fat. Otherwise, I am here to show you how to really truly take advantage of something like this. Okay? Your life depends on this. This is so important. Okay? That's why I keep going on about this over and over again. If I go about something over and over again, that is how you know you need to listen to me. Because I have useful things to say on occasion. And this is one of them. Okay, putting away a few things, cleaning up my mess in the meantime. Be honest, are you on speed? The answer, Jojo, is I'm on my Vyvanse. I'm on my prescribed 30 milligrams of Vyvanse. Okay? So, the answer is no, but I'm also like this when I'm not. I'm like this all the time. You need to keep in mind. Alright? So, there you go. If anybody has any questions for me, now would be a really good time to go ahead and do so. I'm just going to take a second. I'm just going to wipe off my station. Going to get a few things off and out of here. And once again, my pan has been slowly heating up this whole time. Now, what do we need to do here? We need to lay it in skin side down. And we're going to do low temperature cooking, mostly on skin side. Let me explain to you why, my friends. Look at the chicken breast. Okay? So, did you used to wear a mask and cover your face while cooking before? No, I've never worn a mask while cooking before. So, everybody, take a look. This is my chicken breast. So, the breast itself, minimal fat, very delicate. I hate it when people make grilled chicken where this is the side where they get the most caramelization. No, what you want to do is you want to cook it 90% of the way on skin side down. Cook it 90% of the way on skin side down. The skin is going to get nice and crispy, but it also acts as this buffer that gently cooks all of the meat in a gradient. You try to slam this flesh side down, and you're going to end up with overcooked, dry, chewy chicken breast on the outside. Chicken breast can be glamorous. Chicken breast can be juicy and delicious if you know what you're doing. So, everybody, it is now time. My pan has been heating up. Do I know exactly the temperature? No. Do I know how long exactly? No. But that is the beauty of medium-low heat, guys. Medium-low heat. Low and slow. Heat it up. Get that chicken. Come on, buddy. Off you go. Thank you. Don't be so stubborn. Grab it and lay it inside. Lay it inside. Lay it inside. And let it go for a little bit. You don't want to move it around immediately. You don't want to just start twisting it around immediately. But give it a second. The skin will naturally unstick itself from the pan. But you can already see it gliding around, my friends. Look at the meat. It is gliding. It is gliding inside of the pan. It is not at all stuck. That is the magic of heating it up evenly. It's not about slamming it onto the highest heat possible. It is about medium-low heat, my friends. Look at the chicken glide in the pan. Does that look like chicken that's sticking to stainless steel? Not at all. Because we paid attention to the technique. Because we paid attention to the timing of it all. That is how special this is. Okay? So, point is, you don't need a nonstick pan. You don't need a million degrees of heat. You just need to heat it up slowly. Don't listen to the countless food influencers that say nonsense like, oh, it needs to be smoking hot so meat doesn't stick. Absolute nonsense. Complete nonsense. Is that oily water? That is oil. That is for sure oil. We are not doing a poached chicken breast in a shallow amount of oil. And now, that we're officially at this stage, my friends, we want to go ahead and give it a bit of a rotation. So keep in mind this. The side of the pan that has meat on it is losing its heat to the chicken above it. The parts where the pan is in contact with the meat become the coldest. The parts of the pan that are empty become the hottest. So every 45 to 50 seconds or so, we give it a rotation, we move it around. Next, do not listen to the people that tell you that by doing that, it's not gonna get a crust that way. It literally gives you a more even crust because it gets all the hot spots and the cool spots. Is it okay if I use olive oil instead? Star Fox, you could use olive oil for this, especially because this is a low to medium heat. You wouldn't want to use olive oil for extended amounts of time on a high heat, but this is low medium heat, so olive oil would have been just as okay too. The reason why I didn't feel inclined to use olive oil is because we're not going to be eating any of the oil in the pan in any shape or form. So guys, take a look. It's not sticking. Okay, just take it and give it a little rotation at the stage. Take it and give it a rotation. Again, nothing is splashing, nothing is spattering, nothing is splashing because of the fact that we patted the chicken dry. Speaking of which, I'm just gonna go ahead and also pat the flesh dry while this is going. Beautiful. Yeah, no, that is all just canola oil, my friends. That is all canola oil. The chicken is getting nice and seared. It's gently cooking along. Okay, next and last thing that we have to do is to prepare the dressing component. Okay, my dressing component is just gonna be something to finish off the chicken with. Okay, just something quick, something delicious, something really, really yummy. So I had some lemons, that's what I got inspired by. I had some capers, and I had some dill. And so maybe we could mix that with some Greek yogurt, make like a little sauce out of all of that. I think that's what I have in mind. Okay, so guys, take a look. Low, medium heat cooking. All you need to do, every so often, we just give it a little rotation. And sometimes you want to flip it over on itself. But we do almost all of the cooking on the skin side down. Now, if your heat was high, you will burn the skin before the inside of the chicken is cooked through, before all of the fat from under the skin is melted out. So guys, go slow. Go slow. You want an evenly cooked piece of chicken. The biggest mistake that people do to lean protein, especially tenderloins and chicken breast, is they slam it onto a high heat. When you have a thick piece of schmeat, the slower and lower that you cook it, my friends, the more evenly it becomes cooked. I want juicy chicken with a crispy skin on it. And this is the way that we achieve that. Look at that chicken go, my friends. This is just a plain old basic chicken. So I've dragged it. That's enough of that. Let's go over to the rest of what we need to do today. Dill. I got some dill. Let's get some dill processed. Let's get some dill going. Okay? We're not going to need too much dill. I don't have that much chicken going on. I'm just going to use this much dill, and I think that'll be perfect. Would it help to use a press? Yes, Unnameless. So using a press would make sure that the chicken is in full, even contact, and it doesn't curl up nearly as much as it cooks. So I do highly, highly, highly recommend that you were to use a press for this, even if I'm not today, because I don't actually own a chef press. What about cheating with a sous vide then cook? Well, Laura, that's not really cheating, but sous vide is just annoying in a home setting. It is annoying, so that's why I don't do it. Guys, I got dill. You know what that means? We just pluck it off the stems. And also, it's not cheating. It's a very valid and legitimate way to cook. Sous vide does do it the best possible way, right? It does it as slowly as you can physically get it. Nothing slower and gentler than that kind of heat. Okay. So, dill. Excellent. Taken off the stem. Now, everybody, so important. The biggest thing, and I want to hear another yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. The biggest thing that we're not going to do is we're not going to do this nonsense technique that is dubbed rock chopping. We're not going to rock chop, and we're going to explain why it's ineffective and why it's bad. So, fresh herbs, parsley, cilantro, dill. You need to keep in mind something. It is, above all else, delicate. The more that you crush it, the more that you bruise it, the more that you chop it, okay? The more it tends to turn brown and lose a lot of its flavor and oxidize. So what we want to do is to slice it, not chop it. Very big difference between a slice and a chop, my friends. We slice it. We use the full length of the knife. This technique, where somebody takes it and they drag their knife across the cutting board, dulls your knife as you keep smashing it into the hardwood, okay? Next, it doesn't slice anything. All it is it's using a very small amount of surface area to crush it. Guys, this is a slice. This is a chop. No vertical force whatsoever. So, take a look. Take a look. Super important. We're going to come back here. We're going to grab my dill. We're going to roll it up in my hands. Okay? And then we thinly slice it using the full length of the knife, my friend. Slice it. Slice it. Not a chop. I'm not pressing down at all. You want a nice, sharp knife. And you want to go all the way through, my friends. Right? You don't want to crush it. You don't want to bruise it. It will oxidize and it will lose flavor over time as a result. Chicken, give it a little rotation session. Again, we're cooking this chicken as slowly as humanly possible, my friends. We cook it as slowly as humanly possible so that it cooks up evenly, so that it stays nice and juicy on the inside. Okay? So there you go. That looks great. Give that little rotation, everybody. And then slice it once more. Slice it once more. Slice it, slice it, slice it. Don't chop it. Don't crush it, but slice it. That is what we're looking for. That is perfect. So, nicely minced up dill now. All ready to go. All set. Let's go ahead and get a small little bowl. And this is going to be where we're mixing up the dressing for today for my chicken. Next, olive oil, lemon juice, capers, and then I think that'll be perfect with some black pepper in there too. Okay, coming back into this. Excellent. If the skin ever feels like it's sticking, guys, just leave it alone. Leave it alone and the skin will naturally detach itself. Okay, leave it be, let it do its own thing. Paypal, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. Okay, dill inside. Next, capers. Let's go get some capers, my friends. And the capers, we just want to give it a few chops. Just give it a few cuts, just to get it to be a little bit smaller than it is in its current form. The capers are really nice and salty, really nice and tasty, nice and aromatic. Okay, take it and just slice it up. Slice it up, slice it up, slice it up. Just something into a much more manageable size. And that'll be perfect. Chicken is slowly going. It is slowly cooking along, my friends. Let's grab the capers. Let's add them inside. Excellent. Last but not least, lemon juice, olive oil, and then we'll be done with it. As well as some black pepper too. Just for a little splash of flavor while we still can. In fact, we might not even necessarily need the lemon juice, but we'll see. Olive oil, black pepper, perfect. And we got to go back to the chicken. Again, if the skin begins to stick, that's okay. Just give it some time, my friends, and the skin will naturally detach itself. Just listen to the skin. Listen when it's telling you when it's ready to go. The skin will detach itself with a little bit of time, with a little bit of love. Okay? Low, medium heat, my friends. Low, medium heat. Let it do its thing. Okay. That's in there. Little bit of lemon juice. I'm not even going to use my citrus press in this case. Just get a little bit out. Not too acidic or anything for my uses today. And this is almost like a salsa verde, I guess. Not like a Mexican salsa verde, more like a Spanish salsa verde. They sometimes also do it with like anchovies and stuff. Okay, let's mix it up. Let's give it a little taste. We just want something to be able to put on top of the chicken. Salty, dilly, little acidic. Not as much of a sauce as it is just like, again, like a really, really quick, basic, simple dressing. Okay, that's all done. We're all done, my friends. Last but not least, only thing that we have left to do is just to cook through the chicken, slice into it, and then we can plate and enjoy the fruits of all of our labor, my friends. Does anybody have any questions for me in the meantime? Back to the stove. Okay, chicken skin. Did we detach? Did we successfully detach yet? And the answer is yes, we have. We have a beautiful, golden, crispy skin, my friends, on one of them. The other one, not quite ready to detach yet. So let him go for a little bit longer. Let him go. Let him do his thing. Give it a little rotation this way. How often do I make biscuits and gravy? Unnameless. The answer is never, but I make a lot of biscuits and I make a lot of different gravies, just never together. Something you enjoy eating but not cooking. Super simple question, Green. The answer is wings. Making buffalo wings at home is a pain in the ass, right? Making buffalo wings at home, it is a chore, it is laborious, it is a lot of effort. and it's not really what you're looking for because you don't want to deep fry at home. It creates a lot of mess. It takes up a lot of space. So I love eating wings, but I do not like the idea of making wings at home in the slightest. Okay? So my friends, look at that golden, that crispy, delicious chicken skin. That's what it's supposed to look like. Do we need to flip this chicken at any point? Yes, now is the time when we'll flip it. Right? We've developed a really good crust. We've developed a really, really good sear on the chicken. Okay? And at this stage in the process, it's just about ready to go. Yep. For this bad boy, all that we're going to need is just like a little fish spatula. I'm going to grab a fish spatula and I'm going to use that to get under the skin and flip that bad boy over. Come on. Thank you. Oop, that one stuck to the sides of the pan. I didn't get them fully centered. There you go. That's going to be perfect. Nice crispy chicken skin, my friends. That's exactly what we're looking for. Nice and crusty over here. Now some of this part, I think I just didn't end up actually putting it on correctly, is why it looks like so splotchy on this side. So I think for this guy, I'm just going to flip him over one more time. So continue to slowly cook that all the way through. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to hit about 150 degrees internal temperature. Okay, 150 degrees because the rest of it is going to be brought up by carryover cooking. Really huge misconception is that chicken needs to hit 160 to be safe. That is not true at all. In fact, different food can be held at different amounts of time at different temperatures and still be safe. Chicken can be safe at 150 degrees as long as it is being held at 150 degrees. There is also carryover cooking to consider. Right, so there is some additional heat, there's some hot spots, there's some cool spots, and from the hot spots, that will continue to radiate and continue to cook the chicken even after it comes out. So, chicken has hit this point. What we're going to do is we're going to get a nice temperature. We're going to get an idea of how the temperature is. We're going to get a sense of it. And again, we're looking to hit about 150 degrees internal temp, my friends. 150 internal. And I'm also going to get my chicken tenders on at the same time, just to let these guys cook up. Because they will only take about a second. Okay, chicken, temp it, 140, 142, 145, not yet. A little bit longer, and then we'll be all set, my friends. And we'll go ahead and get a nice resting plate for it. Excellent. Am I talking about Fahrenheit or Celsius? Fahrenheit, absolutely. 100 degrees Celsius would be past the boiling point. So very much so in Fahrenheit. Aggressively in Fahrenheit, as I guess I would say. And the chicken tenders, those will take almost no time at all. Super quick, super little thin cuts of meat, my friends. Okay. The chicken is coming along nice. The chicken's coming along great. Give it another rotation, everybody. Just again, in the interest of making sure that everything cooks up as evenly as possible. And then we'll temp it, take it out. Celsius would be hot, that's right. Not as aggressively as Celsius. Excellent. This is the last thing. Afterwards, we're just gonna plate up the salad, then we'll call it. I'm going out tonight. Got a little party thing that I'm going to. It'll be fun. How's everybody doing? A lot more chill, I think, than our usual show. Hit a temperature reading. What do we got, guys? It looks like we're hitting the target temperature of my dreams. 155. Yeah, we're good to go on this one. That's one of them done. That's one of them out of here. Grab it, put it onto my resting plate. Let's go ahead and also temp the other breast, guys. If you don't have a thermopen, really highly recommend one. 146, 164. Ooh. But then this side, a little bit cooler. 140 still over there. So this bad boy is going to need a little bit more time. And my chicken tenders should also be just about done in a moment. Whew. Excellent. Yeah, this chicken breast ended up being a little bit thicker. That's okay. That's normal. Guys, we also have different shaped breasts, different sized breasts. That's a very human thing that this chicken has just done. All right, the tenders can come out. This guy still needs to go ahead and finish up really quickly. So a little bit more cooking on him, and then we'll be all set. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll all work out. Once again, just continuing to test it every so often. Oh, if you poke too many holes in the middle, it'll get dry. I don't care. It'll be fine. Still reading around 135 or so. That's okay. It'll happen. It'll come up, guys. It'll get there. It needs a little bit more time. It needs a little bit more love. Okay? You can always give the meat a breast reduction by cutting it down the middle. Ugh. Guys, please don't cut your meat as it cooks. That's the only thing. You don't want to cut in half. You don't want to tear it apart. Just let it do its thing naturally. I know that was a joke, but even then, it was still enough to make me go, ugh. That's how much I hate the concept of cutting meat as it cooks. Stylistically, cutting meat as it cooks is favorable in things like Korean barbecue, but, you know. But yeah, you don't need an oven to cook chicken breast, guys. You just gotta go slowly. You gotta go slowly. You gotta give it some love. You gotta give it some affection. Okay, give it the kind that you wish you had. Treat your chicken breasts well, my friends. Treat them well. Treat them with some respect. Okay? No, we will not butterfly. It does not need to be butterflied. We're still building up a crust on this bad boy. It's still getting nice and crispy. It'll be perfect. Whew, almost done, my friends. Okay, give her another go. What are we looking? How are we looking? Tell me. 140? Oh, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. That thick side of that chicken breast just needs a little bit more time. In the meantime, my chicken breast has already rested. I believe we can just cut into it. We can cut into it, see what it looks like on the inside. One beautifully cooked, delicious, juicy chicken breast, my friends. And then we're just gonna dress it and top it off. So, give it a slice. Give it a slice, right? Juicy, perfect, delicious, cooked all the way through. Excellent. That is a lovely and moist piece of chicken, my friends. That is exactly where it needs to be. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna plate it up. We're gonna get it all ready for today. Chicken breast, don't forget, guys, it can be beautiful. It can be juicy. It can be moist. It can be flavorful. It can be all of the above. It's not always just about chicken thighs, as many of you, or as many people on the food internet would like you to believe. Okay? Now, once again, my plating for chicken continues to not be particularly appealing, ever. But that's okay. That is all right. I'm not the best at plating. Great. Chicken. Dressed up. Excellent. We're going to make some space. We're going to go ahead and get the Caesar salad ready. But guys, this chicken breast is just about ready to come out as well in a moment's time. He's there. He's nice and seared, nice and crispy, nice and crusty, this one. Okay, and out she goes. Everybody, we've completed all of the cooking for today. We've done everything that we needed to do. The last thing is we just have to go ahead and plate it up. We got to plate up the salad, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to put a few things away, make a little bit of space for the salad. We'll have a little bite of everything, and it'll be great. Look at all that fond. I know, unnameless, but we're not doing a pan sauce today. I just wanted like a very, very clean, very simple chicken with like a dressing more than anything to it today. So I apologize for not making the most out of my fond. I know, we have all that lovely fond, and yet nowhere for it to go. Okay? So, I'm gonna get my salad out, top it off with the croutons, and then we can go ahead and enjoy, my friends. Back to this. There you go. That's my chicken. That salad is, of course, not a portion. We're going to go ahead and get them portioned out for us. Oh, have I run out of tongs? Damn it, I've run out of tongs. It's over. It's all over. Horrible. Okay. Grab a little fork. Aggressively, heavily dressed Caesar salad. And then, of course, we cannot forget the most important component of a Caesar salad, my friends. Well, one of them. There's quite a few. A bunch of crispy, homemade croutons. Okay, and now I believe we should be all set. Everybody, we have done it. We have achieved everything that we've needed to achieve today together. Let's go ahead and do one last recap session, and then we're going to be out of here. So I need everybody's full attention, please, and thank you. We did two things, a Caesar salad from scratch and a perfectly seared chicken breast. So, chicken breast, dry brined it. We broke down a whole chicken. I taught you how to butcher chicken. Broke it down, got the breasts out, heavily salted it so that it dry brines, increases the moisture retention, keeps it all nice and seasoned on the inside. We seared it off, and then we topped it off with a mixture of capers, dill, lemon juice, olive oil, and black pepper. Okay, next, Caesar salad, romaine lettuce. It's modified. I want more nutrition in my Caesar salads. So it has chickpeas, it has broccolis, and it also has some cherry tomatoes. Homemade croutons, okay? Homemade croutons, nice and crispy with some olive oil. We used some leftover sourdough bread. We made a dressing out of anchovies, out of egg yolk, out of olive oil, out of Parmesan cheese, out of some Worcestershire sauce, out of some mustard. And all of it came together, and now all of it is ready to be consumed. So let's have a bite of my delicious Caesar salad with a crouton. It does everything that it needs to do for me, right? It has all the vegetables that I want out of a Caesar salad, because I don't like the fact that it's mostly just lettuce and croutons. So we added the broccoli, we added the chickpeas, we added the cherry tomatoes. And it all goes together exceptionally well. Okay. Little chicken breast, a little bit of my caper dressing. Tender, juicy, flavorful. Yeah, that's it. We're so back. Okay, everybody. That's going to do it for today. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for stopping by. Every Wednesday, every Friday, every single Sunday. That means this upcoming Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, every Wednesday, every Friday, every single Sunday. If you like what we do here, if you would like to support what we do here, my goal is to be able to do this full-time one day. So the best way to financially support the show is to go on Patreon, !Patreon in the chat, or just scroll down and go into the About section. The Patreon, I get the best cut. I get a better cut of it out of it than Twitch, but you're also not buying anything. The Patreon doesn't have any secret information. The point of the Patreon is if you're one of my viewers that have a little bit of extra money, my goal is to not charge people for information, but if you have extra money, any and all help really goes a long way to subsidize the cost of the show. So follow me on Patreon, join my Discord, !Discord. There should be a Discord panel in my About section as well. Everybody, thank you for being here. I'm going to see you all this Sunday, 5 p.m. EDT. As always, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you all have a good night.